The hook, the hidden empire. What if I told you that the sugar in your coffee, the amino acids in your steak, and the blockbuster movie you watched last night were all controlled by the same family? For decades, we've been told that Samsung is the undisputed king of South Korea. You know, the phones, the TVs, and the chips. But there is a shadow empire, one sliced off from the Samsung beast in a brutal family power struggle that now quietly dominates the very building blocks of life itself. This is the story of the Great Separation. It's about how a disinherited eldest son took a sugar company and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar biotechnology juggernaut. Today, we pull back the curtain on CJ Bio. We're going to expose the family secrets, the only one philosophy, and the hidden science that makes this company a global architect of the 21st century. The bloodline and the great divorce. To understand CJ, you have to understand the bloodline. In 1953, Lee Byung-chul founded Cheiljedang, which literally means first sugar manufacturer. South Korea was a wreck after the war. People were starving. Lee didn't want to build electronics yet. He wanted to build the basics. This sugar refinery was the original heart of what would become the Samsung Group. But in the 1990s, a family drama unfolded that makes succession look like a cartoon. Usually, the eldest son inherits the crown, but the eldest, Lee Meng-hee, was pushed out after a series of high-stakes conflicts. The crown went to the younger brother, the man who would make Samsung a household name. But the eldest son's branch wasn't going away. In 1993, they began the Great Separation. They took the food, the sugar, and the budding bio business and split. They shortened the name to just 2 letters, CJ. The world thought CJ was just the scraps of the empire. They were dead wrong. The Lee family members who took over CJ had a plan to do something Samsung never could. They were going to master the science of life itself. The Iowa invasion. Why Fort Dodge? If you drive through the cornfields of Fort Dodge, Iowa, you'll see a massive high-tech facility that looks like a sci-fi set. This is CJ Bio America. Why would a South Korean conglomerate spend over $300 million to build in the middle of Iowa? It was a calculated move to sit on the world's most valuable resource, corn. CJ Bio doesn't just make stuff, they ferment it. Think of it like a giant brewery, but instead of beer, they grow microscopic organisms that produce pure amino acids. These bugs eat dextrose, a sugar made from corn. By building right next door to a massive Cargill corn mill, CJ created an umbilical cord of liquid sugar. The corn goes in one side, the sugar flows through a pipe, and CJ's microorganisms turn it into white gold. That white gold is lysine. If you've ever eaten bacon, chicken, or eggs, there is a high chance you have CJ Bio to thank. Lysine is an essential amino acid animals need to grow, but can't produce on their own. Without it, the global meat industry would collapse. By setting up shop in Iowa, CJ became the flagship of North American bioproduction. The only one doctrine. Inside the halls of CJ, there is a mantra. Only one. It means being the first, the best, and the most different. If they can't be the only one, they don't want to play. This is why they didn't stop at lysine. They realized that to control the market, they had to own the entire alphabet of amino acids, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. By producing the full portfolio in one place, they made themselves indispensable to the global food chain. Their secret weapon isn't just the factory, it's Blossom Park, a billion-dollar R&D center in Korea. Here, thousands of scientists code life. They use advanced genetic engineering to make their microorganisms more efficient than anything on Earth. While other companies try to cut costs, CJ is busy rewriting DNA to work for them. The bioplastic revolution. Now, CJ is taking that same code to solve an unsolvable problem. Plastic. Enter CJ Biomaterials and their PHA technology. Instead of using oil to make plastic that lasts 1,000 years, they use bacteria to grow plastic that is 100% biodegradable. They call it FACT. This stuff is marine degradable. If a piece ends up in the ocean, it literally melts away as food for microbes. They are positioning themselves to be the green giant of the 21st century. While the world tries to recycle old-school plastic, CJ is busy growing a replacement that doesn't need to be recycled at all. The prison cell and the pardon. You can't talk about a South Korean chaebol, these massive family conglomerates, without the scandals. In 2013, the architect of the modern CJ empire, Chairman Lee Jae-hyun, faced a crisis. He was accused of tax evasion and embezzlement, eventually being sentenced to 4 years in prison. The empire was in a leadership vacuum, but in 2016 the president of South Korea issued a special pardon. Why? Because CJ was too big to fail. The government decided the economy needed the Lee family's leadership more than it needed the chairman in a cell. Lee Jae-hyun walked out of prison and accelerated. He poured billions into the US, buying companies like Schwann's, Red Baron Pizza, and Bibigo. Today, CJ Group is the third largest Korean investor in the US. They've spent over $6 billion to buy their way into your kitchen, your living room, and your farms. The story of CJ BioAmerica is a masterclass in how power is transformed across generations. From a single sugar mill in 1953 to a global biotechnology empire, the Lee family has proven that if you control the inputs of life, the sugar, the amino acids, and the biomaterials, you control the future. They taught us the lessons the school system never would. 1. Be the hub. Don't just make a product, create an ecosystem. 2. Master the code. The most valuable code isn't in a computer, it's in DNA. 3. Think centuries, not quarters. Play the long game. Next time you see those massive white silos in the Midwest with the CJ logo, don't just see a factory. See a monument to a family that refused to be second best. See the only one empire that is quietly feeding the world, one microorganism at a time. The system was designed to keep you focused on the big names like Samsung. But the real power? It's hidden in the sugar and the science of the silent giants.